What up? What up? I'm filming. Talking to the microphone, man. You know what I'm saying? Just see if y'all gonna pile in. It's been a minute. It's been a long minute since I did a live. Let's see what's popping. What's going on? Man, this microphone. What's up? What's up? Evan, what's the deal, man? Been a long time. What up, man? I was wondering if y'all was gonna hop in. All is well. Evan sent me an email the other day, man. He told me that he made $7,300 last year calling the Crime Stoppers hotline, man. So I don't know. I didn't know that's how he getting this money out here, man. He out here snitching on people for $7,300, dog. Tripping. Be humble. What's going on? Yeah, long time. Long time. Had to take care of a few details, a few things, you know. What are you doing? Nah, man, I ain't ran off, man. I had to take care of some business. Had to take care of some business. You was talking about me an hour ago? Hey, man, after you challenged me. Man, you didn't challenge me, man. I love the comedy, though. Since the last time I seen you, I got a new job working in special education as one-on-one. I'm teaching lessons here and there also. Good work, G. Man, what I tell you? What I tell you, dog? Hey, congratulations, Evan. 100%. W Booper, what up? Don't nobody start calling me, knocking on my door, doing nothing till I say lights, camera, action. It's so weird. Crazy, dog. Still got the flip phone. You already know it's flip phone keep me out of trouble. Roast comedy show, first one to laugh, take the shot. Hey, listen, I did a show, Detroit, $50 a ticket, and I had a comedian tell me you shouldn't do $50 a ticket around Thanksgiving in Detroit. Ain't nobody gonna come. Sold that boy out, right? It was the day before Thanksgiving, and it was dope. It was comedy. I did like a Q&A. Then I roasted some people in the audience. Man, it was such a dope show. I was almost in tears watching my city come out and support. And it was just kind of a trial. Like, let me see. It was just completely by myself. I ain't have no opener, nothing. And man, it was a success. So shout out to that comedian who told me that I shouldn't do a show in Detroit around Thanksgiving because you ain't gonna sell it out, man. Whatever. Jordan Hayes, appreciate the 20 ball, big dog. 100. That's love, man. 313. Oh, you already know. 313. Yeah, so I did the show downtown Detroit day before Thanksgiving, called it Crazy But Capable. And I took some time, wrote my story. I wrote jokes. I wrote I went dark. I went in the lab. Like that's one of the reasons y'all ain't seen me is like I just went on a writing spree, just creating, writing, like rebranding myself to a certain degree. And because Hollywood got weird, they wanted me to take that jab just to audition. So I was like, y'all can have that. Let me just figure out how to get it another way. So the show was sold out. I was so grateful for everybody that came out. I was on the news like a week before the show, just kind of talking about how my ex-wife shot me and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just grateful. It's stuff happening that I ain't even smart enough to put together. Like somebody called me the other day, like, man, you know, Lil Duval put you on his page. You know Lil Duval? I don't know, dog. I know God. I don't know Lil Duval, but he put my clip on his page and it popped. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm still trying to figure it all out. You said they only came out because they thought I was white. You said I'm at a Diddy crib right now. Jay Adams has a personal story about being at Diddy's house. Matter of fact, he told me personally that he paid Diddy $80 to let Diddy spit in his face. I don't know why you would do something like that as a man. Charlie looks like he hosted a party with Diddy and Billy Sorrell. Evan clowning. Evan always wear drawers that's too tight when he got to go take a test at school. Everyone came from 8th Mile. That's crazy. So yeah, show sold out. Had a good time. Appreciate everybody came out. You know what I want to start doing for real on these shows? Milwaukee in the building. What's up, Caprice? What I want to start doing on these shows, I have picked so terribly in my lifetime. I'm talking about friends and relationships. I'm a healthy balance of successes and failures, but I'm just transparent about the failures too. Everybody, especially actors and comedians, we all brag about our successes. You know, I was on Chicago PD. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was on Star Trek and I did like 10 commercials. You know what I'm saying? And I got like 15 auditions next week. You talk to an entertainer, we will tell you about our successes first, but we won't mention them failures. You know what I'm saying? But I want to talk about these failures. He said, I look like a skinny 414 in the building. A skinny Farrakhan. Evan is tripping. Evan got warm baby oil next to his bed right now for various purposes. He called it Diddy oil. I don't know why he do that. You play. No, this Penny Hardaway. The GOAT. Charlie give Young Jeezy a skull back. I'm crying. Twin Keys clowning. So yeah, we'll tell you about our successes, but not our failures. Like I done jacked up so much. Now I'm to the point that I'm not even interested in entertaining a relationship unless the woman can show me a picture of her when she was a baby with both of her parents in the photo. If both your biological parents is not in your baby picture, I don't even want nothing to do with you at all. That might even go for friends too. These I can't continue to be close to people, very, very close to people coming from these old toe-up homes. I'm done. Now, if you've been redeemed and healed, you got a great relationship with God, that's probably another story. But if you 40-something years old and you still bitter that your daddy wasn't in your life and you never met him, I'm all set on you. For real. You gotta have pictures of your whole, you gotta be oh, what up, Craig? And you gotta have pictures around your house of your entire family in the baby picture, or I can't even be cool with you no more. I can't be in a relationship with you no more. Because it wasn't a lot of people like my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad's a loving, present father. And I feel like kids that come from them type of homes, they're a little different. Now, again, I'll say this. If you are redeemed, healed, grown, you know what I'm saying, got a relationship with God, I don't care nothing about. We cool. You know what I'm saying? But Charlie auditioned for an Everest College commercial. Dollar Tree audition. Hey, dog, I done auditioned for so many crazy commercials, dog. So many wild commercials, but you know, I want to use this platform to just help y'all pick better, because I'm still learning. I'm still growing, but I just feel like to a certain degree we haven't been taught how to pick. Let me tell you, I'm going to give y'all some stories. I want y'all to chime in. Let me know what y'all think. 1972, there was a wrestling camp held by a wrestler named Dan Gable. He ended up going to the Olympics. And in that crowd was a guy named Leroy Kemp. He got inspired that day. Lee Kemp ended up getting a scholarship to go to Wisconsin for wrestling. And this dude, such a beast at wrestling. I just watched this documentary. He got a scholarship to go to Wisconsin. He won 3 NCAA titles. And he eventually ended up defeating his idol, Dan Gable. Graduated with a marketing degree in 1979. I mean, this dude, all of these accomplishments and successes. Christian Clayton, what up? He had all of these accomplishments and successes, right? And what ended up happening is in 1980, he couldn't go to the Olympics because the Olympics was banned by President Carter because of what was going on in Moscow, right? So they banned the Olympics. He couldn't go. And, it kind of broke his heart because he had been living his whole life as a wrestler, but he was successful, couldn't go to the Olympics. So eventually he tried to go in 1984. He got defeated, blah, blah, blah. He ended up opening up. So later on, once he gave up wrestling, he opened up his own Ford dealership with the minority program. And eventually he ended up meeting this woman who everybody around him was telling him to leave her alone, dog. You leave her alone. Don't mess with her. She was pretty, though. Fire. Probably had firebox. You know what I'm saying? What up, though? Charlie threw a party for the roaches under the bed. There's a picture of the chick on the hood of her dad's Cutlass. Mom. Picture on the Cutlass, y'all fooling. So this dude, Leroy Kemp, married a woman with mental health issues, right? Everybody told him not to marry her. She pretty, probably had firebox, mental health concerns. He marries her anyhow, right? Then they go through going through a divorce, custody battle. She wins, and the divorce gets a restraining order on him, saying that he's been threatening her, whatever the case may be. So while he's divorced, he's hurt, he's upset about what's going on. His son, who's like 10 years old, calls him. Hey, Dad, miss you, blah, blah, blah. The mom picks up the other phone. She like, hey, you ain't supposed to be calling here. She called the police. Dog gets arrested. What's your push-up count, G? You don't want none of this, bro. You don't want none of this on the push-ups, man. I'm at a cool, probably about 130. You know what I'm saying? Boston tapping in. What up? So y'all following this about Lee Kemp marrying a woman that everybody told him not to marry? He had all of these accomplishments, 3 NCAA titles, opened his own Ford dealership, was about to go to the Olympics in 1980, but President Carter shut it down. He had all of these successes, chooses somebody that everybody told him not to marry. Did it anyhow. Relationship ends, tries to get split custody, joint custody of his kids. Wife wins, puts a restraining order on him. The son calls his dad. Dad, I miss you. Mom picks up the phone. What you doing? You ain't supposed to be. Dog gets arrested. Right? He gets arrested. And while he's in jail, the ex, she's got like bipolar, schizophrenic, all this stuff. She starts beating the kids. So making a long story short, he gets out of jail, gets custody of his kids. He has this story of redemption, but all this heartache and pain he went through, it's like, I know it was part of his journey, but look how he picked. What you say? You said your job, I'm graduating graduate school next year with 2 master's degrees. That boy, Evan, is putting in work. What you getting your degree in? It's probably like basket weaving. Dude probably got a degree in massage therapy. Evan is the only dude that show up to an all-male party with a massage table, set it out, Vaseline and grease. I was like, man, I'm massage everybody in here for $20 a piece, man. Oh, you can roast too. Because Evan is out here giving massages for $40 a pop, man. He's an all-star at the Diddy parties, man. Is that Evan and Farnsworth Bentley over there? Rubbing people down for $40 a piece? Who I got winning the NBA championship? Let me see. Man, I'm thinking Denver again, bro. For sure. I ain't got no draws on. That's only on Friday. One is in applied behavior analysis, the other is master education. Hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you. One of the reasons I kind of got off the grid a little bit is I went back to school last year. I only need like a year and a half to graduate. I was going to Eastern back in the day, started making money at Ford, quit, whatever. I was like dealing with so many. I'm just intrigued by human behavior. So I went back to school last year. I'll be done in like a year to get my degree in psychology. So it's really behavioral science with a concentration on trauma. So y'all have inspired me as well. I'm like, man, plus two, I was getting challenged. I was coming up with all this, psychoanalysis, all this information. I was getting challenged. Like, what are your credentials, Charlie? What are your credentials? I was like, let me go back to school. So yeah, I went back to school last year, man. And I've been taking these online classes to get my degree in psychology. I'm grateful. What's up with the Pistons? I don't even watch the Pistons. I don't even know who's on the team. Last time I watched the Pistons, what's the dog name? Blake Griffin was playing for the Pistons. Last time I watched. Everest College is sponsoring me. Probably right. You just got your electrical license in the state of Illinois. Hey, shout out to you, big dog. He got his degree in forklift science. I'm crying. Crying. Everest closed. Yeah, y'all can roast. I ain't mad at you. I spit a little serious stuff and we can roast. We can mix it up. But yeah, I went back to school. Well, congratulations to you, though. I don't want to overshadow by talking about, you know how we do that. As soon as somebody say something about what we doing, what you doing, somebody, for real, you got the new Charger? I got the new Durango. You know what I'm saying? Is yours an SRT? Okay. Because you don't get the Charger unless it's a V8, man. I got the 8. Can't even talk about what you got unless somebody trying to overshadow you. But yeah, I think one of the reasons that I wanted to go back to school is I'm just intrigued by human behavior, including my own. Especially, that's why I'm talking about how we pick relationships. I've picked some really great friendships and relationships, but I've picked some bad ones too. And I've just been analyzing the way I pick, like what's been the common denominator? Of course, it's been me, but what's been the common denominator in my choices? And I think all my life I've attracted people to me. I just didn't have the wisdom to. Everybody you attract, you don't have to bring them close to you. But also, too, I've learned like these 3 R's over time. Like the people that you want closest to you should all embody the 3 R's: respect, reliability, and reciprocation. So if you in a friendship or relationship and you don't have one of them 3 R's, or all of those 3 R's really are the closest relationships. Really respect you, they're reliable, and they reciprocate the love and energy that you give. But also, too, I think two of some of the best things you could take into a friendship or relationship is your own routine and your own relationship with God. That's just like bulletproof. And routine meaning like, you get up in the morning, or I'll just say my routine. I get up in the morning, I get in the ice tub, right? I pray, read the Bible, meditate, write. I listen to something funny before I leave the house, take my vitamins, I eat a nice breakfast, go work out. Bulletproof routine every morning. Those are some of the best things you can take into a relationship. You got a bulletproof routine, relationship with God. So that way, no matter what's going on, I'm going to the gym in the morning. No matter what's going on, I crack my Bible open and read it. No matter what. And I feel like if you get into a relationship with someone who challenges your routine and your relationship, bro, it's crazy. Charlie School in West Hollywood, I'm crying. Oh, man. YB Solo Records. What y'all been up to, though? Tell me about some of y'all. It's been a minute since I've been on. Tell me about some of y'all recent accomplishments, man. What y'all been on? David, what's popping? You attract who you are. You're absolutely right. So in order to attract, a different circle, you got to change yourself. I'm gonna tell you something else too. 100%. I'm like super concerned about. I'm the type of person that I want to control myself as much as possible, because we all have this energy to control ourselves. Get up in the morning, brush our teeth, go to work. We have this set energy. But if you don't use that energy to control yourself, what ends up happening is you try to control other people around you and control the environments around you. You're trying to manipulate and control everything instead of controlling yourself. Like, that energy you have is for you to control yourself. And if you don't use it, that energy is exerted everywhere else. And I've been in relationships like that where somebody's trying to manage and monitor and control everything I'm doing. Like, why don't you get up in the morning, go work out? Use that energy for your routine instead of trying to manage and manipulate and control my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Attract who you are. You're absolutely right. No more floor sweeper for me. Congratulations. Dwight Howard loved playing defense on Charlie. I'm crying. D. Howard is on a young buck run. You just got promoted to fry cook. Shout out to you, Playboy. Man, I missed y'all, man. You right. Where is Ben Frank? Ben Frank, my homie, man. I've been knowing Ben Frank since the 2nd grade. I got a picture in here somewhere with us at Showbiz Pizza for my birthday party in like the 2nd grade, dog. Got your website up, but I've been lacking on editing. You right about that energy. Yeah, man. That energy we got is to control it. Like, all of us have gifts, talents, and abilities that we're supposed to give to this world. And when we don't do it, it's like this. Like there's a scripture that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. It's like we get sick and envious and upset when we see people doing what they love to do, when we got these gifts and talents that we're not giving to the world. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's impossible for me to hate on another man publicly, non-publicly. Like, that's not even in my DNA, because I'm too busy going after my goals, looking at God, focus on what I got to do. Like, 9 times out of 10, my eyes ain't even on what somebody else is doing, because it ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So we use that energy that we have. James 1:17 says that every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights. All these gifts that we have come from God. We don't take the time to use them and cultivate them. Of course, we mad, we upset. You know what I'm saying? Or we trying to control and manipulate other people. I don't have time. Ben Frank, what up, boy? I was just talking about you, man. 2nd grade Showbiz Pizza. I found a picture the other day. We both at Showbiz Pizza. I'm telling you, we both had buffalo frame yays on in the 2nd grade on everything. I got to send you. Hey, Frank, I'm going to send you this picture I got. We was the only ones in the early 80s. We was like Meech and Southwest T sitting at the table. Me and you in the 2nd grade had some buffalo frame yays on. Oh, God. Yeah, God is the realest. You met a Christian the other day. My man put a whole paragraph in this boy the other day who was a witch doctor in his family and told me a story about a great uncle who used to practice witchcraft, used their daughter as a sacrifice every year. Her hands would get drier and smaller. What? Jesus. Hey, man. That's another thing I don't deal with, man. I get to talking to a chick and she tell me that she into card reading and crystals. Stop talking to you. I'm not into, especially these universe bras. It's just, yeah, it's universe sent me. I don't believe in none of that, man. I don't believe in none of that. The Prince of the Air. Y'all know who that is? The Prince of the Air is real, roaming around. So the Prince of the Air is the one that's running the universe. That's probably too deep. Somebody probably gonna tag me for that. But whatever. You got a poster of Tim Duncan in your room right now? Tripping. Sadly, her apartment had the roach spray residue smell. Yeah, man. So use the energy that you have to control yourself. You have gifts and talents and abilities that are in you that bet you my flip phone is. Hey JL, what's popping, man? We are talking about using your energy that you have to control yourself, not manipulate and control other people. We're talking about I'm a good balance of successes and failures. So I've just been talking about some of my failures, how I've picked over the years. You know what I'm saying? What up, Trey Tucker? So I was talking about Lee Kemp. I don't know if y'all seen his documentary on Amazon, but it's fire. He was a world famous wrestler, like real wrestling. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to go to the Olympics in 1980. He had 3 NCAA titles in Wisconsin. Very successful. He couldn't go to the 1980 Olympics because President Carter shut it down because of the drama that was happening in Moscow, right? So basically, you know, he was great at wrestling, but didn't get a chance to get that gold medal. So he was very successful in business because he graduated with a degree in marketing in 1979, got a degree, opened up his own Ford dealership in 1984. Successful, but he married the wrong woman with no successes, no accomplishments. She had a mental illness, and everybody around him was telling him not to marry her, but he did it anyhow. She was beautiful. She probably had firebox. But you know the end of the story. They ended up getting divorced. She got custody of the kids, and she put a restraining order on him, even though he never put hands on her. Got a restraining order on him. And their son, when he was 10, called his dad, like, "Hey, Dad, I missed you." And while he was on the phone, the mother picked up the other phone, like, "Hey, what are you doing on the phone with your father? Hey, you got a restraining order. You're not supposed to be calling here." Called the police, had him sent to jail. And he was in jail. He just had this wake-up call. He ends up getting custody of his kids because she had bipolar disorder, schizophrenic, didn't want to take her med, all this kind of crazy stuff, right? And he ended up getting back custody of his kids. But at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes we can't be mad at the other person because that's somebody we chose. No, I got shot by my ex. The story is everywhere. Shout out to Lil Duval. He put my clip on his page. I don't even know, dog. But everybody was telling me not to marry her. She crazy. She crazy. Her grandmother. I was like, you don't understand our love. You don't know. Married her anyhow. And Divine Bebop, all your cars are missing their air filters. You funny. The windshield wipers don't work in your car. You got Rain-X on your windshield. Dry seaweed. Yeah, man. That's at the end of the day, I can't complain too much about my failed relationships or friendships because the common denominator was me. But some things you don't learn until you in them. You have to learn. It's part of our journey. But also, too, you can kind of see some red flags. I'm going to tell you, in relationships, sometimes we develop soul ties too soon with somebody. We start having sex too soon, develop a soul tie before we really know who this person is. And then when you find out everything about the person, you already got a soul tie built because you've been smacking her every day and spraying in her. Now you got a soul tie, and now it's too late because it's just like, well, she'll change. And then that's a guy complex. When you look at people, you got to look at them and say, if this person stays this way forever, is this something I can deal with? If not, you got to move on. You know what I'm saying? We be staying in situations thinking people going to change. And I wasn't always the best in a relationship. Somebody probably got with me thinking I was going to change and realized I was the same. But that was, what's his name? Leroy Kemp. Look up his, what's dog? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Lee Kemp has a documentary on Amazon you got to watch. Leroy Kemp. It's fire. Scotty Jenkins, what up, though? I was sharing with everybody earlier, man. I Hollywood wanted me to take the shot just to audition, so I had to take a break and kind of rebrand myself. I had a sold-out show in Detroit day before Thanksgiving. I sat down to just write. I wrote out everything. I wrote out my content, wrote out my jokes. My boy Henri Franklin, shout out to Henri. He's been in several TV shows. He's a director. He helped direct this show. Me and him ran jokes back and forth, content, and sold the show out, man. $50 a ticket. Another comedian told me, you shouldn't do a show in Detroit around Thanksgiving, man. They ain't gonna pay $50. Sold out, $50 a ticket, downtown Detroit. Shout out to my people who came out. I had a good time. I'm super, super grateful. I had an interview on Fox 2 3 or 4 days before the show, and just kind of talked about it. And I'm just grateful, man. I talked about getting shot, talked about having cancer, but it was just, it was a life story. It was jokes. It was real. Roasting. It was, I had a ball, man. Matt, no, what's going on? So yeah, man, I'm doing more shows this year because that one was such a success. And I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked because I was almost kind of believing that comedian. It was like, and it ain't nobody that y'all know. It ain't a well-known comedian, and it's a female. So she was the one like, it ain't gonna be successful. It ain't gonna be. You should do a different date. You should do less money. But I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of listening to her, but sold out. So I was really grateful. So I'm gonna be doing some more shows this year, and I've really been just taking a lot of time to write. So we talked about Lee Kemp. What's your thoughts on that, man? Lee Kemp picking a chick who had mental illness, and could that be a part of his journey, or was it really his choice? You know what I'm saying? We willing to pursue even when you see hazard signs, because most of our egos refuse to admit failure. Been there. Woo! Whoa! That's lit. Demons do walk among us. I do want to do a show in Boston. Soda Slim. That was 100. That was 1,000. We willing to pursue even when you see hazard signs, because when most of us, our egos refuse to admit failure being there. That's true. We in it, and we don't want to admit failure. We don't want to walk away. We don't want to say we missed it. We don't want to say, that didn't work out. So we stay in situations. I got family members in their 70s talking about they wish they never would have married such and such, and they want to get away, and they're going to start over. Like, okay, but you look like a 70 ball. Your frame don't look the same. I understand it's somebody for everybody, but you've been in this for 30 years and you decide now? I don't know, man. So that's why I said earlier, when you're getting into a relationship with somebody, the 3 R's, and it's a book right out called The 3 R's, reliability, reciprocation, and respect. You need those 3 things. You missing one of them, the relationship is faulty. But also, I want to add a couple more R's. You need a routine and a relationship with God. Your daily routine that nobody can interfere with. You get up every morning, cold shower, read, you run, Whatever it is you do, have you a routine that you don't have. I'm cautious about people who don't have a routine. Like you ain't got nothing, you just doing your own. You don't go bike ride, you don't read, you know what I'm saying? And then a relationship with God. Those are some of the things that I'm looking for. Yeah, she was 70 ball. Cool 70 ball. So I started going back to school last year. I was saying earlier, I'm back in school to get a degree in psychology. Started last year with a concentration on trauma and how it affects the mind. I am enamored by human behavior, including my own. I did so much stupid stuff. So I just want to know. I want to know about some of these cognitive distortions. I want to know 100%. So let me tell y'all about this lady. San Diego socialite Betty Broderick. They wrote a TV show about her life. It's called Dirty John. She was sentenced to 32 years in life in prison for killing her husband, her ex-husband, and his new wife. She snuck into his room, shot them both. So this is the history on them. Dan and Betty separated in 1985. They divorced in 1989. He was a lawyer, and she said that he used his legal influence to cheat her out of his 7-figure income. So he divorced her. She was trying to get to the 7 figures. He didn't let it ride, right? They have 4 children. You can look her up. Her name is Betty Broderick. So her husband, Dan Broderick, was 44. He was a prominent medical malpractice attorney. And his new wife, Linda, was 28, and she was his assistant. So he was cheating on his wife for a while, and finally was just like, look, the box is too good. I'm in love now. He's probably clapping in her. I'm in love now, so I'm going to divorce my wife. He divorced his wife, and she wasn't having it. She wanted the money. She lost her mind. So after the killing, Betty confessed and said that she also wanted to kill herself afterwards, but just changed her mind. I got body slammed at the slut walk. Who is that? Antonio Burnett? I'm crying, dog. Hey, that's hilarious. My man is fooling. Betty Broderick, San Diego socialite. So dig this. After she got sentenced to 32 years in prison for killing her ex-husband and his wife. So after she got locked up in prison, she was diagnosed with HPD. And that is, I wrote it down somewhere, dog. It's something personality disorder. Hyperion personality disorder. Yeah. Histrionic personality disorder. 40-year plot revenge is some diabolical. Yeah, she was wild. So after she got locked up, she got diagnosed with a mental disorder. Histrionic personality disorder, HPD. This is what it is. It's characterized by a pervasive pattern of attention-seeking behaviors and theatrical level of emotional reactions. Genes play a role. Abuse or instability during childhood increases it. A person with HPD seeks attention, talks dramatically with strong opinions, is easily influenced, has rapidly changing emotions, and thinks relationships are closer than they are. But here are the treatments: talk therapy. You know what I'm saying? He thought I said HPV. I'm crying. Talk therapy. So this woman, Betty Broderick, who killed her husband, her ex-husband, and his new wife, was suffering from a mental disorder called histrionic personality disorder, HPD. And once she was diagnosed, I guess she was diagnosed before she even killed her husband, but never went to get treatments. And the treatments is just talk therapy, talking it out, writing in a journal. Like, I think to a certain degree, like, I know I'm a little crazy. I'm off. Had cancer when I was 15, shot when I was 23. some of the stuff that I've been through in my life, like, I think I'm a little off. I ain't never been on no medication or nothing, but I got daily things that I do to keep myself sane. I get in the ice tub in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I read, I work out, I write in the journal. I write my thoughts out in the journal. If I can't talk to a therapist, now I was in therapy for 3 years, but if I don't talk to a therapist, I'm writing my thoughts out in the journal. I got to get it out of my head. You know what I'm saying? So histrionic personality disorder. And that's, Charlie got a military grade thong on. Started daily journal last year. That's 100, dog. Daily, man, listen, even if you don't write in a journal every day, but if you could get in there 3 days a week and just pour your feelings out on paper. I don't know if y'all have ever read a book. It's called The War of Art by, I think, Stephen Pressfield. And in the book, he just talks about how, all artists should have like something they write in every day. Just get the thoughts out of your head. But I would even go on to say, not just artists, us in general as people, especially if you're a Black male, the way the world sees us, the way we have to operate in the world, the traumas that we've been through. Like from the age of 16 to 24, I was getting pulled over every other day. Lost my license for a minute, got it back. Now, okay, I was kind of wilding a little bit, but I mean, I was getting flicked for, remember the little tree air fresheners? If you Black in a Monte Carlo with a tree air freshener hanging from your rearview mirror, you getting flicked. J-Rock TV, what up? Appreciate you, bro. The weekly prostate exams. I'm crying because when you go back and see what happened, it gives you a better viewpoint. Man, for sure. When I go back to my journals and I read about how worried I was about a situation and how God just worked it out, like, man, I remember being so worried about that. Like in my room, I got 2 big boards. Like one on my left is everything God has done for me, like pictures of me in commercials, TV shows, old school cars, my dad's car lot, like how successful it was. Like my dad had a car lot in Southwest Detroit. When it started, it was like I was running it for him, and we was only selling 2 cars a month. And right when he was about to shut the business down, we changed the strategy up and then started selling like 40 cars. It became $1 million business in a year. I got a picture of the car lot on my wall. So everything God has done, I got this huge, like, grateful board. And then on the right is a board of things that I'm believing God for. So it's like all of this stuff already happened, but this is the stuff that I'm believing for. But at one point, all of that stuff that I wanted to happen, there was a time in my life when I didn't think it was going to happen. What did you guys do different? Man, you know what we did? We were selling cars out of the price range of the hood because they were easier to purchase from the auction. It was easy to just go to auction, buy 5 or 6 cars at high price. But what we started doing is we started going to the auction very early in the morning. We increased our numbers. I was like, Dad, what we got to do is, it basically is dope game. We got to really buy low, really, really low, and sell lower than everybody else in the hood. So that means we had to put in more work. So I had to go to 3 auctions a week, sometimes 2 in a day. Odessa auction in Lansing. There was one in Mount Morris, and it was another one in Perrysburg, Ohio. Sometimes I'd have to hit 2 of them in a day. But I need to look at probably 100 cars in a day or 200 cars in a day just to buy 10. So when I started looking at more cars, getting there early, test driving them, making sure they was cool, I'd have more cars on the radar and I would get them for a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like buying like a 2000 Monte Carlo for $1,000. Wash it, get it to the car lot and sell it for 18. That was another thing we did too, is like instead of trying to get maximum profit on these cars, if we sell 40 cars a week and make 500 a car, that's better than trying to sell 10 cars to make 1,000 each or 2,000 each. So we just increased the volume. Make a long story short. The woman for me needs to have a relationship with God. Facts. Woman for me has to have a relationship with God. flat out. Like her own relationship, her own routine. Like she get up in the morning, go work out. It ain't even got to be morning, but she has a concrete routine that nobody can interrupt with her reading, writing, working out, her own personal time. Like I love when a woman has her own personal time that nobody can interrupt. Like, nope, going to the gym. Nope, going to the ice tub. No, I got to read. No, I'm going to do yoga. Or no, I'm going to get my massage. Or no, like, or going to church, or I'm serving the church. Like, it's just so big for me to see somebody that has their own routine, their own relationship, man. That's like the number one sign. You talking to somebody that ain't got, you always available when I call you. You ain't doing nothing. I just left the gym. What you doing? Oh, I'm just getting out of bed. Actually, I'm about to go back to sleep. I'll call you at noon. Man, I'm straight. Charlie keeps his casino player card and a Bible. I'm crying. Charlie dress up like Brutus the Barber Beefcake at Diddy parties. Yeah, I feel that. She shave her back every morning. Yeah, I'm wilding. Y'all wilding. Charlie invented the UV blocking do-rag. Oh, y'all tripping. Yeah, man. So how you pick? So my uncle told me a story not too long ago. He said my great-great-grandfather was very wealthy. And I actually looked him and his brother up in Whitaker. They bought a whole bunch of property, which is like right around Ypsi. And this was years and years ago. They bought a whole bunch of property and became successful farmers while they worked at a foundry. And they got rich off of farming. And my great-great-grandfather, his first wife passed away. He had maybe about 4 or 5 kids. First wife passed away. He remarried. He remarried somebody who already had kids, right? But make a long story short, he passed away. And instead of her giving the property to his children, she distributed the properties to her children. So that was just like everything he had built, the majority of it didn't go to his children. Some of it did, and it's still in our family now. We have a property on Wayne Road in Romulus, right by the airport. We fly in Detroit. We got a property in our family that's been there for years, and it's a house there that everybody in the family didn't lived in once or twice. I've lived in it twice. But that's the only piece of land we have left from my great-great-grandfather, because the rest of the property he pretty much owned blocks and blocks, acres and acres and acres of houses. But it missed being passed down to our bloodline because of who he married. You know what I'm saying? So it's really imperative. And also too, man, sometimes people can change. I get that. Sometimes you get a word from God to tell you to be in a relationship with somebody. And maybe you see what we don't see, and both of y'all change, because we attract what we are at the end of the day. That's why I can't be too mad about my choices, because there was something inside of me. There was some BS inside of me that attracted the BS inside of that person. Because sometimes two broken people will attract each other and think that we can be whole. So I ain't mad at nobody I'd have never picked, because ultimately it was something in me that was attracted to that I didn't work on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just continuing to work on me. It's part of the reason why I'm back in school. I'm loving learning about human behavior and psychology, and just, and just trying to spot these signs. Listen to this story. This lady, I don't know if y'all remember this. This was years ago. This lady, Pamela Smart, murdered her husband, had her husband murdered. She was teaching at a school and started having an affair with one of the 15-year-old students, which I'm wondering, like, where was these teachers at when I was in school? I was a dirtbag. I would have been knocking down. All my teachers was built like linebackers or old librarians. There was nobody hittable at my school. Romulus High School, man. None of the teachers was hittable. So I don't know where these students is finding these hittable teachers, because they didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this dude, 15, starts smacking his teacher. Smacks his teacher. She was like, whatever she was like a counselor or something at the school. He starts smacking her. She falls in love with him and then tells him, if you don't kill my husband, I'm not giving you no more box. And dog kills her husband. And to this day, she's saying she ain't had nothing to do with it. Look, listen to this. On May 1st, 1990, 16-year-old Billy Flynn and 17-year-old Patrick Randall entered the Derry condominium shared by Pamela Smart and Greg Smart. Her husband's name was Greg. The two forced Greg Smart to his knees in the foyer. Oh, that sounds really sus right there. Why is Patrick and Billy forcing Greg to his knees? Is there something we're leaving out here? The two forced Greg Smart to his knees. As Randall held a knife to the man's throat, Flynn fired a hollow point bullet into his head, killing him. Billy Flynn is the 17-year-old who was smacking Patricia Smart, and he was in love. So in love that he killed her husband. Pamela Smart, who was 22 when her husband was killed, was convicted of being accomplice in first-degree murder, sentenced to life in prison without a chance of parole after her 91 trial that gathered attention across the world. You can look her up, Pamela Smart. Look in her eyes in the new photo, in like current. She's got those eyeballs, that say, hey, I smack underage guys and I let them clap inside. Pamela Smart has denied knowing about the plot of the murder of her husband, but the state star witness, a teenage intern whom Smart confided in, secretly recording her after the killing, saying, if you tell the truth, you'll send me to the slammer for the rest of my life. So she's admitted on tape to someone else she did it, but she's like Jussie Smollett. He's going around still saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, dog, you hired them Africans, man. You hired them Africans to throw a noose at you and acid or whatever it was, and all of that you created. Why can't you just say you did it, man? Here's something else that I have to say. Accountability is probably one of the most sexiest things a woman can have, to me. I'm attracted to different things now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I didn't hit them all, right? So now what I'm attracted to, you still have to have the body type that I like, but accountability is so sexy. It's like I call you out on something, man. Did you say that? Did you do that? Yeah, I did that. I'm sorry. That's like, let's just have a kid now. You do something like that. But people who refuse to be accountable, even in the face of real facts, what's wrong with you, dog? You on tape saying that you killed dog. You had dog killed. But you still telling us to this day, 30, 40 years later, that you didn't do it. The whole world knows Jussie Smollett lied and did whatever he did. But today he's walking in court, free me. And have dog got the nerve to be doing outbursts in court. That's a mental illness, man. Something wrong with you. First, you came out, told everybody you was gay because you thought that was going to make people sympathize with you. But it's like, you can still be gay and a liar, dog. You a gay liar. You a guyer. According to trial testimony, Smart was one of Billy Flynn's instructors in a self-awareness program at this high school in Hampton when she seduced him. She was a self-awareness program instructor. Let me help you be more self-aware, Billy. Let's get those pants down. See what's going on. She allegedly told him she needed her husband killed because she feared she would lose everything if they divorced. Wow. That kind of sounded like this Betty Broderick chick, man. Like, she wanted his 7 figures. She was afraid. It's mental illness, man. I wonder if he saw any of that in her before he married her. So Randall, who held Greg Smart down. So this guy, Randall, who put Greg Smart on his knees, was convicted of second-degree murder and received a 40-year life sentence with 12 years of the minimum sentence deferred. The sentence was later reduced. So everybody, all these other dudes have gotten out of jail. Patricia Smart is still in prison to this day, getting denied parole, and she's still saying, I didn't have anything to do with it. The only thing I'm guilty of is falling in love and having an affair with an underage boy. But I didn't kill him. She's on the Jussie Smollett run. This is somebody that's insane. That's why she's still locked up. I bet you if she just be 100 and say, you know what, I did it. I had dog killed because I wanted to be with this young boy. Because this young boy has been beating it up. And Greg's not. I wonder if Greg voluntarily just dropped to his knees when he saw them two guys. She probably had him. I'm not going to say that. What if she had Greg murked because he was fruit? You got a speeding ticket coming out of Romulus, Detroit Airport, $189. What you driving, dog? You probably got a Charger with a V6 in it. W. Booba is the only person on the planet. Hey, thanks, budget gentlemen. Not for the $10, man. The routine is key. The woman I'm dating now was intrigued by mine. Church, gym, work, and school. She hollered at me. We're getting baptized this Sunday. Hey, man. Congratulations, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Like, look, that's a natural. That's like, I almost feel like that's God connecting y'all. Like, routine. Do she got a routine? The woman dating now was intrigued by mine. Okay, she's intrigued by yours, but do she have a routine? Yeah, so the Slim Jussie need to stop capping. For real. Hey, man, that's solid, dog. I'm happy for you, G. 100%. Routine, relationship, that's huge. Then the next 3 R's is respect, reliability, reciprocation. I think you on the right track, man. But like I said earlier, I think a lot of us, and I know me included, we've messed up because we develop a soul tie with somebody by having sex too soon, by finding out all about them. We start smacking too soon, and we realize, like, man, for real, so you've never met your daddy. Oh, okay. And you hate him. Oh, okay. So your mama missing all her side teeth. Like, I'm not dating a woman and their mama missing her side teeth. What did she do for her side teeth to disappear? And can it possibly happen to you? Because I don't want to be married to you later on in life and you got a partial or you missing all your side teeth. And I got all mine, but I got to explain to everybody, like, Charlie, what's wrong with your wife? Why is she missing all her side teeth? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been telling her to, like, stick some bleed press-on nails in there, cover it up, or like get a blue Crip rag, cover up her face. That's why pandemic was cool, because the rags covered up people's grill. Y'all met in the gym too? Hey, that's another thing that's super sexy. A woman who willing to go to the gym to work it off instead of going to get surgery. Like, accountability. Got to be accountable. Friendships, relationships, to me, my best friendships and my best relationships are always one where we both accountable. Hey, did you do this? Because the Bible says offenses will come, but they don't have to be taken. We don't offend each other. It's going to happen. But can I come to you with something and say, hey, you did this. I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? Or they come to me. You did this. I don't like this. Hey, I apologize. That's not what I meant, or I was wrong. Accountability is sexy. Y'all met in the gym. What caught my attention was the fact that she was going to feed the homeless after the gym for a church. That's fire. Fire. She had a routine before she met you. She had a relationship before she met you. She was in the gym. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Tim Ball, and the advice, big fella. You on the right track, man. For real. In a lot of cases, women like that you describing, just like they got a mustache or something, or they incredibly bad built. But from what I'm getting out of this from you, what I'm receiving is that if you dealing with her, she probably bad too. She probably beautiful, man. I'm happy for you, dog. He said if the water start boiling in the tub with somebody, they getting judged. Always dropping gems. Ain't seen you in a minute. Hope you and your family blessed. Prayers up to you. Peace from the LBC. Matt Treese, what up? Man, everything been good, man. Everything been great. I'm grateful. I just been working. Man, I got a lot of dope stuff coming. I don't want to talk about it all, but you know, like I said before, Hollywood was trying to get me to take that jab. I didn't want to do it, so they stopped letting me audition. Me and my agent parted ways. Blah blah blah. So I just had to figure out ways to get it out the mud because that was my primary way of eating for a very long time. So, I just kind of got off the grid and wrote a lot. And I got back in school. I've been back in school for since last year to get a degree in psychology with a concentration in trauma. And then I did a live show last year, day before Thanksgiving. I don't know why I'm talking in this radio voice. Just did a live show last year and sold out show, man, in Detroit, $50 a ticket. And people told me it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to be successful. And I know I keep talking about it, but I don't know. It was a win for me because I almost didn't think it was going to happen. Even though I went on the news and promoted the show and I was promoting it like crazy and telling everybody and selling tickets and like, I don't know. It was great. I learned a lot from that time on how I'm going to make it better, but it was 100, man. I had a really good time. And what was I talking about? Yeah, just how you pick what's attractive. What's attractive to me is accountability. What's attractive to me is a routine. What's attractive to me is you got a relationship with God, you know, and you ain't even got to be in church every time the doors open. But I'm saying you got a solid relationship with God where you know how I know somebody got a solid relationship with God? Like when somebody asks them to do something that's a little out their comfort zone, they just don't immediately say yes. They say, you know, well, let me pray about it. Let me think about it and I'll let you know. Like that's somebody that's like somebody who has the ability to make wise decisions is somebody you want in your corner, friendship or relationship. Like they just not just jumping into everything. Like, you know, I get back with you. And sometimes we get mad when we ask people because we want them to just tell us now. Tell me now, man. Can you do it now? But the people you want to get close to is when you ask them for something or ask them to do something, especially if it's something, if it's something minor, you know, whatever. But if it's something kind of major, they're like, you know, I'll get back to you. Let me pray about it, man. Hey, thanks, bro. Like I bought a house in 2009 and from an auction. And I needed $7,500. I only thought I needed like 45, which I had. Then come to find out, we needed $7,500 to buy the house from the auction. That was the closing cost. The house was like $70,000. So I needed $3,500 and I was short. So I asked a wise man of God. I remember I asked my old pastor, Bishop Jabert. I said, hey, I need $3,500. And he said, make a long story short, he was like, well, I'm not going to give you 35. He said, I'm going to give you 5, but I'm going to give you a strategy for the rest. He said, ask 20 of you. And ultimately, too, when I asked him, he didn't give me an answer right away. It was some time. And then he said, I'm going to give you 5, but I'm going to give you a strategy. Ask how many friends do you have that'll loan you $200-$300? He said, ask, 30, 40 of your friends if they'll loan you the money. He said, some of them give you the money, some of them loan it to you. But I guarantee you, if you ask them, you'll get what you need. If you tell them what you want to do, you want to buy a home for your family. Because at the time, I was living with my parents. I was married. My ex was my wife was living with her parents, and we was just trying to get into a house. And so I asked my friends, man. That was wise advice. Like, so we need to stop. We need to be less around cheerleaders and more around coaches. We want our friends to be our cheerleaders, but like some of your best friends is going to be a coach to you. They're going to say some hard stuff that you really, really need to hear. Them the people I want to be around. I don't want to be around everybody that's like, man, you're doing a good job. Man, so check me. Give me some real advice, man. pull me to the side and tell me like, hey man, I wouldn't do that. If I'm on the train tracks, there's a train coming, tell me to get off the tracks, dog. A cheerleader be like, hey, Dez, hey, no, I need a coach. Get off the tracks, man. So I asked 30 or 40 people, bro, they loaned me. Some of them loaned, some of them gave me the money. I got all $3,500 I need right before the auction ended. Got the house. We fixed up the house, painted it. It was in Canton, Michigan, which is a suburb in Detroit. And this was like right when the market had crashed, but it was building back up. This is when you can get a house in Canton for like $70,000, but it needed work. Got the house for like 69, almost 70,000. We went in and it was missing copper pipes. The copper pipes, it was missing the closet doors, the basement. The kitchen needed to be redone. I redid the kitchen, paid somebody to replace the copper pipes with PEX pipe, replaced all the closet doors, painted the whole house. I'm talking about I moved the whole family in. And we fixed up the whole house and turned around and sold the house, man. Walked away, like made a quick 30, 35 bands, and then bought another one across the street. It just kept doing that. But I got some really great wisdom and advice from somebody who just asked me to borrow the money from some friends. And I paid everybody back as soon as I got the closing check, then went and got another crib. So that was sound advice. But that's because I choose to surround myself with more coaches than cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that mortgage was about $500. God, I wish I would have kept that house, man. Now that same house in Canton, probably like 400 bands, 350 at least. Man, that's what I'm talking about, successes and failures. Some of them houses I wish I held on to, knowing what I know now. Then I moved to Cali and the prices of houses was ridiculous. Like, man, I'm not buying nothing out here, bro. I'm leasing. Yeah, kids are well. Kids doing well, man. Everybody's solid, dog. Everybody 100. My boy, my son, my 23-year-old son, he been locked up for a couple years. He made a few decisions, but he getting out in like 17 months. So parking spot in Boston around $150K. I believe it, man. These prices is ridiculous. I'm telling you what's going on in society right now. Tell me if y'all agree. But what's happening in society right now is we've been pushed to like just rent everything. Rent cars, rent houses. It's almost like ownership is the prices of stuff is just so high that it's just ridiculous to buy. Some of these houses, there's no way a house in Inkster that don't even have a school district. There's no way a house in Inkster, a 2-bedroom frame house with no garage and no basement, there's no way that house should be $150,000. Tripping. Jail, what's popping? And I'm going to tell you what happened. This is my humble opinion. What happened, first of all, the pandemic, when it happened during one of the biggest wealth transfers in history. The baby boomers was giving their resources and their inheritances over to their children. And during the biggest wealth transfer of history, pandemic happened. The world shut down, coincidentally, right? So what ended up happening? All the people that were supposed to get an inheritance from their baby boomers, what ended up happening is instead of them using that to build their life, build up their house, boost the economy, now all of them people is displaced. And now some of them is moving back in with baby boomers. I know so many grown folks, my age or between 40 and 50 that had to move back home with their parents. The pandemic got crazy. And in the midst of all them people abandoning their properties and moving in with their parents because they couldn't afford it, who bought them? Banks bought them houses. People from foreign countries, mostly China, bought all them houses. I think it should be criminal when you live out of this state to be able to buy property here. I think you need to live here to buy property here. But anyway, all of them houses that the people left got purchased. Completely depleted the inventory. Then they tripled the houses. So now when the pandemic is slowing down, all them people that had to move out of them houses, now that moved in with their parents, now they want to get back into society and start buying a house again. Now the houses that they left just 2 years before, now it's triple the price. Can't even afford the house you left. And not only that, it's on the market 2 days and it's gone. So now you forced to rent. So since you forced to rent, Now they raised the rent prices. And then the prices of used cars shot up like crazy. The prices of old schools is ridiculous. I did just score me a 77 Cutlass though. Man, it took me a year. Finally found one. That boy's so clean, but I had to go to Ohio to get it, and I waited. I waited a year. I can't tell you how many cars I looked at that was trash. I went and looked at a 78 Bonneville. This lady was asking like $4,000. I went and looked at it. The rear end was leaking. It wouldn't start. Man, it was dented on the pack. It was so many problems. I was like, man, I can't believe she's asking this much money. Archie Lee for the 20 ball. Appreciate you, G. I'm seeing you in the hat game, my friend. Seeing you in the hat game. Murking you in the hat game. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people laugh like that after they say something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? G, what up, though? Yeah, so they left. They were displaced. Couldn't even go back and return to buy the houses that they once lived in. Now the prices is triple on everything. Old schools, cars, used cars. Man, people paying $1,500 a month for a truck note. What? Listen, bro. Everything I drive is paid for, cash. Noting up on nothing. I got 2 small credit cards. That's it. Pay with cash or a debit card. Leave that credit card for emergencies only, man. $1,500 a month. Pickup trucks and some cars aren't selling. You can get a good deal. Yeah, some cars. I mean, I still be flipping cars, man. I bought a minivan for the low and turned around and flipped it. And the whole passenger side was smashed on that boy. But I got it for such a good price. I sold it to a lady with a couple kids. She came and scooped it up. I'm just saying, why do we have to live above our means, man? To impress who? What? I pull up in anything, man. My kids know. I drive anything. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you see me on TV. I don't care what. Like right now, I'm driving truck part-time, right? Semi-truck. And I deliver to Starbucks. And it's funny, man. Somebody asked me, like, man, you don't care if people notice you from TV? Like, I don't care about none of these people, man. That money from that commercial is gone, dog. I'm on this truck because I got to get this money. And now Hollywood won't let me audition for shows because I didn't take the jab. And some of the production companies, even though they dropped the mandate, still want you to have it. So now they being weird. Agents is being weird about this jab. So it's like, I got to get the bread somehow. Gratefully, Optima, I'm still getting money with Optima Tax Relief, which I'm super grateful for. You know what I'm saying? I did that sold out show in Detroit, $50 a ticket. That was a nice bag, but I'm saying I got to get it out the mud somehow. You know what I'm saying? So why would you live above your means? Go audition for Lee Daniels. I'm not doing nothing for dog at all. Lee Daniels the type of dude, he'll be reading the script. Like, you know what we need right here? And it'd be just a scene about nothing. It'd be like, let's just let's put it on the car. Let's just say a dude is buying a car from an auction in the scene. Okay, so Jim is buying a car at an auction. You know what we need here in this scene? We need 2 men making love in the van. Can we do that? Action. Who's willing to do it? Let's get all them actors from P-Valley in here. I know they're willing to do it. Let's get 2 men making love in this minivan. Action. Yeah, that's why they're there. You know how many roles I said no to? Like, man, I ain't doing that. Charlie pays such and such per episode. I'm not available for that. So, yeah, I wouldn't take the jab. So they wouldn't let me audition. So I'm driving truck, man, 3 days a week. And people asking me, you know, man, aren't you the guy from the commercial? Yeah, that's me. What's up? That money gone. I get a renewal check. Like today, I got a check in the mail from Screen Actors Guild. I get residual check, which I'm super grateful for, which that's kind of what helps me be able to work part-time. You know what I'm saying? I get residual checks. I'm grateful for all of that. But at the end of the day, if they're not letting me audition for shows and book Screen Actors Guild roles, which I'm in the Screen Actors Guild union, if I don't book a certain amount of roles and make a certain amount a year, I'm not eligible for the insurance. So if I'm not eligible for the insurance, I'm driving a truck. I got my CDL license in 2021. I've been driving the truck ever since. And I ain't gonna lie, some days it's rough, but I don't, I'm glad I ain't in there 7 days a week. I'd be crazy. I would be crazy. So I'm doing enough to keep benefits and doing some other stuff, but I'm hustling, man. That's where I've been. I've been writing, working, taking care of these kids, just loving life, man. Back in school. Oh, Tubi series is coming, whether you know it or not. It's on the way. Yeah, Optima. Hey, shout out to Optima. Optima been bringing me in on several occasions, and they showing major love during the pandemic. They ain't asking me to take no jab. They just been a buck with me the entire time. So, but yeah, but what I will say in the midst of all of that is, man, I don't want to tell too much. I just want to say that one of my homeboys has a development deal with somebody, and we in the midst of some big things right now, and I'm super grateful because I've written probably in the last 2 years, I've probably written 6 movies. So writing shows, writing jokes, doing live shows. I mean, when you're a real hustler, man, you don't really get upset by a roadblock. You just figure out another way to make the road to get to where you're going. I am the biggest movie star in the world. All my shows are the #1 shows on streaming, selling out every live show. Everything I put my hands to is blessed. No matter what roadblocks come my way, no matter how long it takes, I can't be stopped, dog. It's impossible. A bullet couldn't even stop me, man. I'm doing God's work. I have to accomplish God's perfect will destiny for me. Because if I wasn't, when old girl shot me in the arm and then pointed the gun at my face, why did the gun jam? It hit me in the arm, or why didn't it hit me in the face? Because I got to go accomplish destiny, man. I have to. Has to happen. But I really feel like that's one of the reasons I'm going back to school to be a licensed therapist, because I look at what the pandemic did to the world, man. I feel like the whole world is due free therapy for at least 3 years. We were constantly being bombarded with fear tactics. There's just so much going on. I don't even really want to get into it. But what I will say is that I've watched the world change. I've watched people change. I've watched a layer of humanity be eroded. And which is strange to me because I didn't participate in none of the activities. I never wore a mask. I never stayed in the house. I did whatever I wanted to do because I'm like, who's going to arrest me? I'm not doing that. I went wherever I wanted. I did whatever I wanted. I didn't take a jab. I did every single thing I wanted to do. I stayed normal. I didn't listen to any of that. I flew everywhere. I did everything I wanted. So then when they said the world's open back up and people start coming outside being all weird, I'm like, why y'all being weird? Oh, I was the one that was doing whatever I wanted to do. Jay Marquez. Man, I was just thinking about you the other day, man. I hope all is well. I did whatever I wanted to do, dog. I'm talking about we did comedy shows outside. Man, we was doing me and Craig and Duncan show. Who else is in the room? Brandon. Man, we was doing podcasts twice a week. I was loving it. Like I was loving the fact that I had something to do. Because me, at the time, I was against the internet. Like, no, I don't want to be on the internet. I had a flip phone. I had no social media. I wasn't on the show for no kind of fame or to ride nobody coattail. I just wanted somewhere to go. I couldn't audition for shows. We couldn't do live comedy shows because they shut clubs down. And Craig was like, man, we could just do actually, I approached him. I'm like, man, look, I want to get on the podcast, dog. I ain't got nothing else to do. I can't audition, can't do comedy shows. He was like, come on through. The rest is history. Man, we had a blast in there, dog. But I just wanted to do it just so I could be a part of a community and so that I can continue to be creative. And the rest is history, man. I learned a lot. I finally got a social media because him and Brandon was on my head. Like, dog, you need a social, man. You need what did Craig say? You got to get this internet money, dog. These people, you got a story, man. You need to help inspire people. You need to get you a social media, but I don't want that. I don't want no Instagram. I don't want that. I don't want none of that. And him and Brandon was on my head for so long. I was like, let me go ahead and get an Instagram. Let me go ahead and start this. And I'm glad that I did. You know, I got my daughter running it all, but at least it's there. I still got the flip phone. Sandy Womack and See No Evil is coming. I shot a bunch of sketches today. I got a See No Evil series sketch that's going to drop either the end of this week or next week, and it's wild. So the blind rapper See No Evil's coming back. Sandy Womack is coming back. Mac B, all of the crazy characters is coming back, which I'm excited about, man. Sometimes, man, you gotta, you know, those cars that you pull back. Remember them little toy cars you pull back and you release them and you let them go. Sometimes you got to go back a little bit, chill, work on a few things, then release it. You can go forward stronger and better than ever. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? See No Evil. Mac B is the coldest. Yeah, See No Evil. I was doing a See No Evil video today, as a matter of fact, and just bust. I couldn't get through the video because I was laughing so hard. Because if you know the premise of the story, See No Evil is a blind rapper who does things like he can see, like he drives. He got a song out called I Only See a Real G When I Look in the Mirror. But then in the video, he pulls the strap out on somebody and tries to shoot, but don't hit nothing. Pandemic, George Floyd. Your country don't know how close. Yeah. See No Evil, super gangster. Yeah, the pandemic was wild, man. I couldn't believe that they asked people, like, we're not even talking about it no more. It's almost like the Flint water crisis. They just stopped talking about it, like Flint still ain't got problems with water. Like, y'all shut down churches, but airports were still open. I can remember not being able to go to church, but sitting on a full airplane traveling somewhere. I can remember not being able to go to church, but still I'm at the grocery. Like, they shut down these places. And shout out to the people who defied the government. Who says that the government is always right? Like, I loved going to the churches that stayed open during the pandemic. Like, they can come in here and do whatever they want. I'm staying open. Like, to me, that was fire. 2 years of BS. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it other than the Bible says when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord raises up a standard against it. So I feel like God's raising up a standard. He's doing it now, and it's coming soon, or something is going to happen for it to be a standard, because during that pandemic, the inflation happened. These banks bought all these houses here, and people from other countries bought homes here, and they shortened the inventory so much that now the prices of houses are stupid. If you're making $100,000 a year, you should be able to buy a nice house. You better be making $200,000 now. But they traumatized us for 2 years and then just said everything's okay now. Y'all go back. You know how many friends called me saying that their friend, their son's friend committed suicide, or their daughter's friend? Because think about us. Like, I'm 46. We've been through all kind of traumatic things our entire life. I remember in 1987, there was a plane crash by Detroit Metro Airport. And if you're from the area, you probably remember it. Plane crash, everybody on the plane died except one person. So this was probably the first major trauma I experienced. But when I looked on the news, I saw my cousin's car. I was like, Dad, that looked like such and such car. Because he was on his way to our house. This accident happened in Romulus. So he was on his way from Detroit to our house this day the plane crashed. Come to find out, that was my cousin's car that I saw on the news. The plane hit his car and crushed him. That was my first trauma. Like that was just an act of God, a plane come out the sky, whatever the case may be. And I remember how sad I was. Like, man, I can't believe this dude that was on his way to our house, a plane landed on his car on the way to the house. It was sad. You know what I'm saying? And then, I had cancer when I was 15, 2 surgeries, 8 months of chemotherapy. I got shot when I was 23. I done been through all these traumas, but if you think about these young people, let's just say between the age of anybody between the age of 10 and 30 right now, what major world traumas or big traumas have they seen? A lot of them haven't seen any. The pandemic was probably the most traumatic for them. Forced to stay in the house, can't talk to your friends, can't be around your friends, can't go to school. Like my kids was out of school like 18 months. You in school, now automatically you are forced to do virtual learning. And then now you back. Like my kids are still getting their swag back to learn and behave and do well in school. They struggle for a while. It's like those are the things that are just completely getting glossed over, man. But if you think about the average kid between 10 and 30, the pandemic was probably the biggest and most traumatic thing that has happened in their life. And so many of them killed themselves. It's very sad, man. My little cousin, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say his name, but my little cousin, 21, last year, committed suicide, man. It was heartbreaking, bro. Going to the funeral and seeing all his friends. That's what I was looking at. All his friends that was there crying, all the same age. He was struggling with some mental health concerns and blah, blah, blah. But it's like what they're not talking about is what the pandemic did to a lot of these kids. And it's just like, hey, everything back to normal. And for us, older people, all the trauma and stuff that we went through, like I got pulled over by the police for 10 years from 16 to 26. And I didn't know if I was going to get shot or what. I mean, that was traumatic in and of itself. But if you got these kids now who ain't never been through nothing and the pandemic was the first trauma that they've been through, it's tearing them up, man. Your RIP, first trauma I saw was TV, Rodney King, 8 years. Me and Pops was so mad, started crying, wow. See, that's wild. I remember that, man. I remember seeing Rodney King get beat on TV. I couldn't believe it. I remember the riots. I remember Dog who had the brick, who pulled Reginald Denny out the truck, had the brick and cracked him on TV. I remember watching that, like, what's happening? I remember the OJ trial, how surprised he looked when they said not guilty. I remember how white people was acting then. Like, it's so many life traumas that I wouldn't even say traumas, but it's just so many life events, major life events that happen to us, people who like over our 40s. But the life event that happened for these people between the age of 10 and 30, the biggest thing is probably one of the biggest and most impactful things that has happened to the United States ever. Whole world shut down for 2 years. 9/11, facts. So the snub. 9/11 was wild. How many of y'all was like watching airplanes hit towers? Like, man, we just experienced. And then if you just go back in time, and almost to a certain degree, every generation has experienced some type of trauma. I can't even imagine what it was like growing up in the 60s and you seeing all these world leaders get murdered. Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, as far as the black leaders, but then you had JFK, RFK, you had all of these major assassinations happen in the 1960s. That was traumatic because think about it, in the 60s, your only media outlet, what was 2 media outlets, TV and radio, with no internet, none of that other stuff. So on your small media outlets, talking about suicide, not suicide, but these major assassinations. George Floyd was traumatic. It was. George Floyd was super. George Floyd, the Trayvon Martin case. You know, those things was traumatic. That's true. That's definitely true. But the way the media painted it was wild. I feel like a lot of the media tries to press an agenda. We equate to folks that grew up going like, TV. Welcome back. What's up, Robert Peterson? I feel like I'm reading this book right now by Isabel Wilkerson. It's called Caste. And it just examines the origins of our discontents. And it's just such a great book because it just talks about, like, I feel like media pushes an agenda that separates us. Did you take the jab or you didn't take the jab? Are you for this president or you're not for this president? And it's like at the end of the day, we have more in common than we don't, but it's a separatist. I don't even know if that's a word. That's an agenda push to separate us. But this book called Caste, it talks about how what we're really dealing with in America is a system of caste and class, as opposed to racism. I hate white people, or I hate black people. It's like there's a system in the United States that's just set up similar to India. In India, the black people in India are called Dalits, basically. They're Indian, but in societies, there's always one class of people that are getting stepped on and mistreated, and that are the ones that do the menial work to provide the income for upper class. So instead of us really dealing with racism in America, what we're really dealing with is a system of caste and class. That's a good book. You should check it out. It's called Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. Caitlin Clark versus LSU. Exactly. Caitlin Clark, man. So LSU, look at this rivalry, and then we watch it. We watch it because it's like, yeah, it's white against black. It's white. And that's what it is in this world. No, man, it's caste and class, man. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep. But when I found out Hitler learned eugenics from America, and specifically Jake Kellogg, J.P. Morgan, like all of these, Kellogg, yeah, the dude who did Frosted Flakes and whatever other cereals, J.P. Morgan from Chase Bank, like these men created eugenics, which basically sterilized people who they didn't think were worthy to have children, run tests on them, and in some cases kill these people who they thought were degenerates of society, and a lot of them was minorities. Eugenics started in America by these people who we eat their cereal now. And Hitler learned it from them. Heavy classism. Facts, Archie. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep. But what I'll say at the end of the day is that we think our fight is against people. But the Bible says our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. A lot of our issues are with systems, not with people. System issues. Slave owners coined the term choosing. Man, I don't know, man. I want to learn. That's why I'm back in school to get this psychology degree. I want to learn human behavior, but it's also taking me down this road of just kind of learning more about the world around me and my history. Because a lot of what we think is our fight against another person is that we're just dealing with some really terrible systems that could use some upgrades. I like what Isabel Wilkerson said in her book. She said, America's like an old house that you inherit from family. And it may have leaks in the basement, cracks in the roof, it's got all these issues, but it's like the people who built the house to begin with is dead and gone. You can't be mad at them people. But right now, since we've inherited this house, let's all work together on what it takes to fix it together and stop taking it so personal that it's like, some people take either side. Some people take it so personal that you point out certain things. It's like slavery was 300 years ago. Why you guys still upset? And why you said, look, my attack is not against you, Bill. What I'm saying is that we were denied the opportunity for wealth transfer for several hundred years. Our ancestors made all that money, sweat off their bra, worked and was unable to transfer that wealth to us due to redlining and several other issues. So what we're saying is that the system is broken, not you, not white people, Bob. The system is trash. Let's work on fixing the system, dog. What does it take? Let's put some laws in place. Let's sit down and have some dialogue on what it's going to take, man. But I'm not mad at nobody. We've inherited this house that has a roof that's leaking, basement that's leaking, holes in the wall. Let's fix it up instead of being mad at whoever was in this house before us. Let's fix up this house and get it ready. And that's why podcasts like this can be fire, man. I want to share a little. I don't know it all. I'm a balance of successes and failures. I'm, still a recovering dirtbag. But I just want to share some game I can learn from y'all. Hopefully, if everybody is going after their perfect will destiny that God gave them, we can change things. But if you just satisfied with just the status quo, taking orders from people, not doing what you called to do, then we're not going to change nothing, because it's going to take resources. It's going to take us doing what we love to do, what we called to do. That's why I love inspiring y'all. In the chat, had me lit. People telling me, man, I'm back in school for this. I just got a degree in this. Man, I just got a promotion for this. That's what I'm talking about. Are you going after your goals and destiny? Or are you staring at the news and what everybody else is doing? I ain't got time to be focused on what another man is doing. We can use that energy. Bill, I'm back to take what's mine, Bill. Facts. I'm here to take what's mine. Some of my ancestors were not able to transfer all the stuff that they worked for because their land was taken from them and they was killed when they was 50 or 60 years old, or whatever the case may be, or redlining prevented some of my ancestors from buying houses in nice neighborhoods that could make money. It was so many systematic things that was just really sneak, but it's a system. It's not a person. It's not one person I can point to and say, you're the one who, it's a system. I'm here to take what's mine. But the way we take what's ours is by James 1:17 says, every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights. God has put gifts inside of all of us. And when we tap into those, we going after them instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing. Then you can acquire the resources needed to change your bloodline. How you going to change your bloodline broke? How you going to change your bloodline with no education, not knowing what you're talking about? How you going to change your bloodline not even knowing who the enemy is? The way you change your bloodline is leaving them an inheritance and also giving them the game on what to do with that inheritance so it stays in the family, so they don't jack it all off, so it can go to the next generation, then go to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine, because most of us as Black people, we start out behind the 8 ball. We got to catch up. So just imagine that when you turned 18, it was already $100,000 in the account for you to go to college from your great-great-grandfather. And then also in that trust, when you turned 25, there was a house that you were supposed to get that's already in the family. And then at 35, you get another $400,000 to kind of help you start your business or whatever. Like, you set up with them type of head starts from your previous generation, putting aside wealth. You got to be, of course you're going to lose. Some of the decisions we make is just like we trying to get a bag. I just turned 38, so I'm at a panic. I have my own, but getting pushed back in areas though. How do you eliminate a system without a military? That's a good question. And I never really said, I don't think I said eliminate a system. I'm just saying I equated it to an analogy of an old house. What we've inherited in America in these systems is an old house with a roof that's leaking, basement that's leaking, holes in the wall. We need to collectively team up together to figure out what it takes to fix this system, or maybe replace it. But how are we going to replace it if we ain't all going after our destiny? If we ain't all going after what we're supposed to do and gathering the resources that it takes, and then putting people in positions. Somebody in this chat, somebody you know is supposed to be a politician that's supposed to be righteous and upright to help change laws. But if we don't encourage that person and push him to do what he's supposed to do to get in those positions, because there's 7 mountains of influence: education, politics, media, what's the other one? Family, church, the rest escape me. But if you look it up, there's 7 mountains of influence. So if we can get into those 7 mountains, and because some of us get on the 7 mountains of influence, and then we see the money or we see the temptations and we lose sight of the goal. But if we can get on those 7 mountains of influence and stay on code and do what we're supposed to do, then we can effectively make change. So that's how I feel we change or replace systems. Is that we got to be in the 7 mountains of influence, and we got to be doing what we love to do, and we got to be getting to this money. I love what's going on in parts of Detroit right now, like on 6 Mile. There's certain patches in Detroit where it's like all Black-owned businesses, grocery stores, and it's like small little Black Wall Streets popping up in Detroit. Do you think the term scam culture is the move of the mundane majority? Explain that. Every time we create our own system, they criminalize them. I do think it's unfair in the United States. Well, let me speak on the terms of mental health. I don't think it's right that the United States chooses who to criminalize and who to medicate and who to just say, like the fentanyl thing. You know what I'm saying? In the 80s, when it was crack, it was criminalizing us for taking crack or even selling it. But now that it's this opioid fentanyl crisis, now that it's affecting white people, now it's mental health. So why do y'all get to choose what's criminal and what's not? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's fair, but I don't think it's white people. I just think it's a system. It's a system error. Every time we create our own system, they criminalize them. Do you think that? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think that's fair, and that's probably one of the reasons that I'm in mental health. I don't know if this is a mountain or not, but I want to be in this mountain because it's like you shouldn't be able to pick what's criminal and what's not. Like, y'all on drugs, y'all are taking fentanyl, y'all selling it. Like, why y'all not being criminalized the same way we was for crack in the 80s? But I think that's why I like Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. It's one of my favorite books. But basically, he ain't in there talking about hate all white people is racist. And it's just because he's giving everybody a blueprint of what it takes to change the things that you don't like. He talks about basically the 7 mountains, how somebody got to be in position at those 7 mountains. We need to pool our resources together. We need to do the quid pro quo. Like, we get somebody in office, and then it's like, okay, now what you gonna do for us? It's like a back and forth. You want something from us? What we gonna, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we individually need to be going after our God-given goals and gifts to accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish, and also have a community of like-minded people where we begin to enact change in our family first, then our community, then it extends out. But we got to start within our family. Home training, giving our kids home training, starting a business for our family. Like, it starts, I think system change starts with our family, then our community, personally. Mental health is being hustled right now. It's true. Mental health is being hustled right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're just giving people medication. Just take this. Just take this. It's because it's that's why the trans agenda is more about money than it is about telling people to be free. Because if you tell Timmy at 12 that, because you play with Barbies, you probably really are a girl. And then what's going to happen is now you've indoctrinated Timmy to feel like he needs to be a broad. And then there's medications for that, right? Gender blocking stuff and all of that. And then it's like the pharmaceutical companies is making money off this agenda. If you follow the money, you'll follow like, oh, that makes sense. Because then now Timmy's 18, 19 years old taking gender blocking medication. And it's like, that's really what it was all about. It's like they're not trying to push this agenda because they hate children. They're pushing this agenda to make money off the medication. And that's really, if you look at all of these systems, just follow the money, you'll see like, oh, they're pushing that agenda because it leads to this. America don't even go to war unless it's about some type of money. So if you follow the agenda. Yeah, mental health is being hustled right now. So I said that about the gender blocking medication because even in mental health, they'll just tell you like, yeah, you know what? That's why I don't believe in depression. You can be depressed, you can be sad, but I don't believe in depression like it's just you have depression, you have to take medication. Oh man, I'm sad right now. Tell me what I can do to get out of it. Why aren't you suggesting journal writing and taking an ice bath or taking an ice shower or working out or taking fish oils, or there's stuff that you could take, taking some dopamine, serotonin. Like, why you ain't suggesting that? You're just saying you're depressed. Let me give you this medication. It's the same in mental health. That's why I want to get into it, because now I'm not saying I'm completely against medication. I don't take medication. I never have. I'm not completely against it. But what do you do with a pridefully mentally ill person who takes the medication for 6 weeks and then one day they just feel good and they decide they don't want to take it no more, and then now they back crazy again? What do you do with them people? That's why it can't be about just medication sometimes, because pridefully mentally ill people will stop taking the medication when they feel good one day. I don't feel depressed today. Actually, I haven't felt depressed all week. I'll stop taking meds. And then 3 days later, dog, you know what I'm saying? So you got to do more. Along with giving the medication, also suggest some daily activities. Name 10 things you're grateful for every day. Take a cold shower, get in the gym, take some fish oils. There's proven vitamins that can help you maintain a decent chemical balance. But since there is a hustle game in the mental health arena right now, it's medication. Medication. Take this, you're depressed. You have ADHD, you have the ability to focus. It could just be the stuff that I'm doing I'm not interested in. So just be careful, especially if y'all got kids. Be careful if you're taking these kids in. Don't let nobody just die, especially just one person, just give them these diagnoses. Yeah, your kid's depressed, give them medication. We're raising zombies, man. Probably the approach that most will move towards as far as redirecting households. Man, households is under attack right now. And that's, again, how we change systems. That's how we change the world, is with our families, you know? And I ain't gonna sit here in front like I've been perfect, man. I did some dirtbag stuff and got caught cheating and so many times in the past, and family broke up and blah, blah, blah. So I can't even sit here and say that I've been doing, I mean, I am now, but in my past, I did some dirtbag stuff that tore the family up, dog. So we got to have our personal habits in order. We got to be 100. We got to be in a situation where how we change the system is by changing our families first, doing everything we're supposed to do, getting all the resources, and then it extends out. Rusty fingers. So if you go back into this episode, you will see that I just talked about, how to pick. Talked about some people who I don't think picked wisely, including myself. So you definitely want to kind of rewatch that. This was real. I had a good time. We roasted a little bit in the beginning. I don't see nobody roasted now, man. They roasted all in the beginning and then faded out. Evan probably gone. Evan probably Dylan Mulvaney's biggest lie in the U.S. to do. Right. Brandon Marshall, what up? Evan is probably in Thailand right now getting gender affirming surgery. That's why he had to get off the live. he's just tired of tucking. He's been tucking for years. It's uncomfortable when he sits down, so he just decided to just go ahead and get him a smoothie down there. Yeah, all the roasters is gone, man. Oh, some scrubs. I'm about to get out of here, man. What's going on with W Boo Boo? What can I say about dog? He was a third string quarterback his entire time in high school, man. He never got any playing time. And that's still one of his regrets because he think it's the high school he went to. He don't know it's just that he was trash. You bought a shirt to match the sunset. I'm crying. What's going on with Archie Lee? Let me just pick something out of the sky. Archie Lee got a whole bunch of photos in his house with thumbtacks. He ain't got no frames on none of his pictures. Oh, man. He got a magnet. Archie got he got the magnets on his refrigerator. No, I ain't gonna go that route. You remind me of Rosie O'Donnell, a bisexual bridal shower. I'm crying. Archie, there's a button inside of your butthole that when your friend Greg hits that button, it turns you into Charlie's tattoos look like he got them in a soapy bathtub. Christopher Gomez. Christopher Gomez don't wear drawers. He zipped up his pipe last night trying to pee. He's got a scab on his pipe, so he can't spray tonight because he's got an injury on his wee-wee. Lance was the one. Lance is on one, dog. Yeah, I'm back on it, man. I'm back on it. All right. Let me get on out of here. Cold Weather Music Group. What's up, man? Charlie looked like the baloney. Charlie snorts the scratch off shaving. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Okay. You own a corduroy jumper. I'm crying. Divine Bebop. All love. Man, I appreciate y'all tapping in. I appreciate everybody that contributed, man. I had a good time. Everybody that dropped in the super chat, man. I appreciate the love, appreciate the money. Man, I love y'all because I love myself.